Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dami. If you're seeing my face for the very first time, I am a Nigerian YouTuber based in Brisbane, Australia. And if you're new here, please ensure you subscribe before you leave. We put out interesting and nice content on this channel about our life in Brisbane. By our life, my family, our life in Brisbane, Australia. Today's video is going to be very quick and very direct, and I'm just trying to explain more on the different types of ways you can come into Australia in 2022 and going forward, and just trying to break it down in a way that we all understand, because Australia has quite a number of visa categories, so it can be quite confusing. So I'm going to break it down as much as possible for you today. If this is something that interests you, please sit down, relax, and keep watching. So the first one I'm going to be talking about today is the working holiday visa. This visa has like the eligibility is very simple. You must be from certain countries and jurisdiction. So if you are not from these countries listed on my screen now, you are not eligible, so you can't even apply. So once your country or jurisdiction is not on this list, just forget about it and move on. And the second criteria, so if you've met this criteria, you're from any of those countries listed, so you need to be between the age of 18 and 30. So once you are within that age range, you can apply. And then the next eligibility, I think you need about $5,000, which is basically for your living expenses and transport to Australia while you are here. You cannot come with any dependents when you're coming on this type of visa. So it's just a very short visa, but it allows you to work. So it's like working holiday. You're on holiday, but you're able to work and make income while you're in Australia. That is a very simple and straightforward visa. But because of the restriction of countries, it's not something people in Africa or Nigeria are able to apply for. But if your country falls into any of the eligible countries or jurisdiction, please feel free to apply. The second one I'm going to be talking about is the student visa. I know I've done the whole process of student visa. I have a video about student visa. I will link it up here as well. So with this visa, right, what I want to mention particularly is not about applying for the schools and things like that. It's just to also say it out there that student visa is the most common way people transition into permanent residency in Australia. But if you are coming on this visa, based on what I've seen and what I know, is ensure you know the course you are studying. So Australian has a long list of occupation lists, and at the moment they have a priority migration occupation list. I'll put them in my description box. Please do well to check that your occupation is on that list. But with that said, just know Australia change like almost every 6 months. There's something new on their migration policy or home affairs. Something is always happening. It's a very busy kind of environment, so there's a possibility that they change these courses or this occupation within the next 6 months. This one was released, I think, sometimes in 2021, and then we're in 2022. That list is still maintained. Anything might change before the end of the year. So when you're choosing a course as a student, ensure that everybody can be in the health sector, that's for sure, but ensure that at least you check the trend of how long certain courses have stayed on the occupation list. It's not good enough to just find a course, oh, all I want to do is just get into Australia. At the back of your mind, have the mindset that once I'm done with my studies, how do I live here permanently, if that's your plan. But if your plan is to go back home after you're done with your course, feel free to study whatever course you like. You can even come here and study agriculture. It's all up to you, right? But what I would say is it's expensive studying in Australia. So if your plan is to live here permanently, ensure you have all this research done. You need to put in the work. You need to do extensive research. Check like the trend of how they've taken some courses off the list, how they've added. Check for courses that have stayed on the list like for so long, because it's bad enough that you're coming in now and you feel that, oh, nursing is the in thing, nursing. So just to say, nursing would always sell. Health is very important here, you know, like in most countries, health, like anything, health is a go-to. But I'm just going to be using this as an example. So for instance, you come in to study nursing and you're going for a BSc in nursing, and maybe I'm not sure, I'm not saying it's not cast in stone, I'm just saying, let's say your course is 3 years and you start this program, and before the end of your second year take nursing off the list, what happens to on your PR plans after you finish that program? So that's why I said you need to put in the work to just also check, go to, like, all this information are publicly available. Make sure you do your own work and be sure that the course you're coming to study has a route to permanent residency. And it's not just the course alone, you also need to consider the state you're going into. I personally will tell you that Queensland, okay, so the federal government will do migration allocation to different states. Queensland is one of those states that have very little number. I will not advise anyone to come into Queensland if your plan is to live here permanently. But with that said, also there's occupation list Queensland is looking at, so also consider that as well. So just do some of this research, and sometimes maybe because of our background, like Africans, I'm just saying, I'm not sure, is we always want to go for BSc, MSc, PhD, like we are we always book into this book, and like certificate is what we're after. But another interesting thing I found out recently is the TAFE courses, TAFE. So it's just like technical diploma, like there are different courses they offer, and that has a transition opportunity to permanent residency. We'll talk about motor mechanic, carpentry. There are courses that you would do for between $20,000 to $30,000 that would help you to transition to permanent residency. They are diploma courses, right? But then again, there's opportunity for you with this kind of job. It does not have to be the old standard, oh, I must have a BS, I must have an MSc, I must have a, if it's something in line with what you've been doing in the past, or you have experience, feel free to apply for some of these TAFE courses like TAFE, and they're in different states. Just check it out. They have a long list of courses. Check it out, see if you're eligible for the intake criteria, and then take it from there. But take it from me is, don't just come to Australia because you feel that once you enter you figure it out. This is not the country to do that kind of thing. And yeah, recently I know that they've also changed the policy around changing your course after you arrive in Australia. They realized that most people would just come in with any course, and by the time they land here, they now understand that this is what would help them transition to PR. They start changing their courses. So even with that, they are now stringent to the way you can change your course. So be sure of what you want to do before you come in. Don't just come in, you know, like just say, just give me any course. Some people are happy to just take any course to come in, and then you get in and you're stranded. Try to put in the little effort before you come in and be sure of what you're going into. With that said about the student visa, the next type of visa is the skilled migration visa. This particular one is so wide, but what I'm going to say with the 491s, the 190, and all those interesting 189 visa is, you want to, because people apply from offshore and people apply onshore, it's highly competitive, so you need to do a lot of work on this visa. So what you're going to do, so basically Australia has an occupation list of people they are looking for in particular occupation for different states again now has their own requirement as well. Like the federal has requirement, and then the state has their requirement as well. So for this, you need to be nominated by a state, like for some of these visa categories. So there are different categories, so you need to be nominated and all of those things. So as well, you need to equip yourself with adequate knowledge about the requirements of each state and what you like, the total visa processing. So with this one, I would say you need to visit the different migration sites for the different states in Australia. For instance, the Queensland migration site, I know that for the financial, so Australia's financial year starts in July and hence in June. For the last financial year, Queensland, for which I reside, started their migration program for 2022, sometimes October or November, I'm not sure. I think about October last year, and now it is closed. It wasn't open for so long, but long enough for people that are eligible to apply and get offers in between, grants in between. So what I would say is get familiar, like familiarize yourself with all of these states. So there's Queensland, there's Western Australia, there's Southern Australia, there's Melbourne, and there's New South, like all the states in Australia. Go to their migration site, see which one is open at a point in time, and just start prepping yourself. It takes a lot of commitment, it takes a lot of hard work, truth be told. Like, it's a lot of process, but you need to put in the work. That's what I know. So familiarize yourself with the different states, check what is available, check if your course is on their priority, if it's on their list, check if your course is on their occupation list, and just get the ball rolling. Like, do your skills assessment. I've seen a lot of people that have gotten this thing from offshore, that have gotten grants and invitations. Just put in your expression of interest, and you might just be lucky. You never know. Just try. There's no harm in trying. Try. In the skilled occupation as well is the other visa category of employer sponsor. So I've talked a lot extensively. I will link some of the videos at the end of this video. I've said a lot of things extensively, how I was able to get my job overseas and getting sponsorship to come to Australia. It is still open. I see people coming in on a daily basis to Australia with this visa, but it doesn't take. I know someone was saying, oh, I've applied, no one called me. You are going to apply. I'm sure that if I go through my mail in 2019 when I was going through this process, because I think I made up my mind to relocate to Australia sometimes early 2019. Yeah, I'm sure I have over 50 rejection. There are interviews, like, so you have to. It's the tenacity for me. Like, you just have to, you cannot afford to give up if it's what you want, and it's like the surest and easiest way. So applying for 2-3 and because it didn't work out, you giving up is not sufficient reason to give up. So you have to keep applying. Trust me, one day someone will find you worthy, you will meet favor, and it will come through. And there's no special requirements for account. I'm an audit. There was nothing about saying, oh, because you have ACCA. I have people with ICANN that have gotten this job as well. I have people that don't have any qualification and they've gotten this job as well. Like, not any qualification, any professional, but like they don't have ICANN or ACCA. I know people like on my level who are still in the process of writing their qualification exam. So don't let anything stop you. This is what you want. So those are the three main visa category that I know. Like, there are a lot. There's the partner visa, but those are the easiest way for you to relocate to Australia in 2022. And the most important one I would say is that skilled migration. The next financial year that is starting July 2022 is the beginning of a new financial year. The government have increased significantly. I think they need about 30,000 skilled migrants in that year from July 2022. Trust me, you do not want to miss out. Most of the states are now beginning to close their migration scheme for 2020. Is it 2020? Like the financial year that is ending anyway. They are closing their migration scheme for this year, and they are opening the new one. They would open it, but you need to keep in loop of information as much as possible. I would also try to post once any of the state open, but I know that for now Tasmania have closed, Queensland closed, so several other states will start closing just to wrap up for this financial year that ends in June. So make yourself available to information, like do your personal research, and I know that it will work through if you put in the effort. I hope I've been able to explain these things and you understand, but if you still have any question, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. I will try as much as possible to respond to every question, like as much as I know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please ensure you do subscribe, you like, you share to your family and friends, and I'll see you in my very next video. Thank you and bye.